Hello, me. Hello, you. Hello, anybody who's going to come on eventually. I know I'm here by myself right now. I'm my cameraman. I'm the writing guy. Well, I'm here by myself in the flesh. But as you know, sounds kind of funny. They say you're never alone. I'm definitely never alone. I can elaborate. I might get to that. But all right, might as well get it off. It might sound a little crazy, but I recall worse. I've been called that a few times too. I have. Yeah, we'll come back to that perhaps. If it comes wrong. Anyway, I am gratefully surrounded by the spiritual presence of love warriors. The angelic realm are here with me now. Demons are not allowed here. Oh, they had a place here not so long ago. Every now and then they creep in, you know. There's still a few thresholds in this not so fortified armor. You know, the flesh part of me still has areas of sin, some weakness. However, I've been dominated by the ordinance of love. And thank you to God Himself, Christ Jesus, and the Holy Spirit that moves. Very much alive. Back down to the 3D in the flesh. I got a new ring. I got this in the bottom of the cereal box. I'm not going to tell you what cereal it was because then everyone's going to be off the shelves tomorrow. There'll be none for me. Because I want to put one on all my fingers, you know? I'll give you a hint. Fruit Loops. No, I'm kidding. It's not Fruit Loops. I'm kidding. It wasn't a cereal box. Anyhow, it's pretty cool. Very inexpensive. You know what I mean? It's kind of like Bush Ghost. Anyway, I don't want to waste too much time. I already wasted like almost 3 minutes. And an introduction. Hey, I'm lit. And I really am lit. I'm not lit like I used to be. I used to be lit with the self-medication tactics that sometimes felt good. I'm not going to lie to you. But for the most part, we're definitely thresholds for those demonic entities I spoke about, a reference a little while ago, to access this beauty vessel that is now supported and surrounded by love angels. Call me crazy. Go ahead. Say, Lit, you fucking crazy. Lit, you crazy. Crazy good, crazy fucking wise, crazy fucking protected. Crazy wise, boo. Boo, boo, boo. Anyhow, it all started with the fucking word trust. I broke down bad almost 5 years ago. It'll be in 28 days or so, it'll be 5 years to the day when they came and got me. And they said, Mr. Lit, you're in trouble, bro. You're so caught up in your emotional fucking nonsense that you think is your challenge. The things that you're crying about, the things you torn up about inside, the things you're thinking about, you're gonna redirect. They sounded good last week. I might have even believed you. But newsflash, Dick. We got some incoming news for you, bro. Talk about redirect. Here's your chance. Not gonna be pretty, but we'll be with you. They didn't give me this stuff up front. But they did come and get me. They gave me the ultimate fucking stare down. The entire sky was dark. But this entire sky was like millions of eyes. All one eye. All one, millions of eyes. They weren't blinking. They had me captivated. They had me on hold. They just squeezed me. Sat over top and said, Dick, you ready for where we're going for this opportunity? Go ahead. Give it to us. Unload your fucking what you think is about. Go ahead. Go on, pour it out, bitch. Cry. Try. Go ahead. Give it to us. So I did. I went at it, man. I went at them like they were God. I said, what the fuck do you want from me? What the fuck do you want? I said, you already took this. You already took that. What do you want? This? You want that? Take it. I don't give a fuck. I can't stop you. Because I know all this shit you already fucking got going in my fucking world ain't from me. Something's going on, man. Outside of me, I fucking knew that. I knew that I was being exposed to like a world that was redirecting me. If the universe and God wants you somewhere for a specific reason, or maybe because you got off path and you just couldn't see the big picture, they're going to move you whether you like it or not. But if you cooperate, you're going to arrive on time with probably no scars and bruises on you. When you resist, as I did, I showed up broken in many ways. But I was still blessed. I was living in financial abundance. I had a really nice opportunity employment-wise. I recently just sort of lost my wife and kids. That was what I thought I was, my greatest burden must have been. How am I going to deal with this? Now I'm on the streets. I can afford a place, but I don't have one. Now what am I going to do? I want to sit there and cry to you guys that are fucking squeezing me. Sky squeezing me. Yeah, they did. So I fucking, like I said, man, I poured it out. I fucking gave them everything I had. My resistance to what the fuck I was receiving. It wasn't fair. It wasn't fair. I'm not saying I was an altar boy my whole life, but I'll tell you what, I knew this fucking heart is always in line with righteousness. I served myself, I'm not going to deny that, and indulge in some things that I regret. But none of it was directed to harm another living creature ever. Ever. It was my escape. It was one of the things I used. Drugs, alcohol, stuff like that. And I wasn't out of control at that time. I had been other times. But I sort of had reestablished myself to some degree. But either way, I broke down, bro. Poured it all out. And I got tears coming down my eyes. Wiping the boogies. Catching my breath. And they didn't blink, not once. They just held me. And they said, it was almost like if they said anything, which they didn't, but inaudibly, they said, are you done yet? And I knew they weren't moving. This was all about me. Coming to terms with at the time I had no idea. And now I know a little bit more. A little bit more. 5 years worth. Well, long story short, if I can. I don't know what it was inside me. My response after I was exhausted, this was only a brief period of time, man. Maybe 5, 10 minutes. This conflict, I could only emotionally muster up 5 or 10 minutes of energy to fucking challenge. And basically what I said, you know what? I'm going to trust you. Probably the greatest phrase I ever said in my life. I mean that. That was the greatest moment of my life. And I didn't even know who I was talking to. I thought I was talking to God or some dark entity that was punishing me. But what they were doing, they were choosing me. They fucking chose me. And when I said, I'm going to trust you, it was like I was the 1 millionth customer at the supermarket, man. I'm talking confetti. Immediately. Bells. Omnipresent all around the fucking parameters of my universe. In beautiful fucking tone. Different pings and beautiful symmetry. As the sky was flashing before my eyes. And it was like stage curtains being ripped apart. And they snap back together. Apart again, snap back together. The third time, whoosh. It was lighter. A layer of mental engrams and blind things that were blind in my reality, my potential, were being removed before my eyes. Layer. Pushed. Another one. Pushed. 2, 3. Another one. The sky was getting brighter, almost pink. Flashes as I'm hearing these bells. And I'm crying and wiping the tears. Got a few new ones right now. I was excited. I'd never experienced anything like it. I'm like, oh my God, who am I going to call? I got to share this experience. I said, oh no, you don't. I'm not going to interrupt this. It's way too beautiful. And I got in my truck. I started driving. I didn't even know I was out of my truck. I started driving as the sky was clearing. Man, that was the initial experience. And at that time, I was being chosen to do something specific for God. I had no idea. I knew it was beautiful. I knew I had a new perception, however temporary or not. Because this would eventually come back in, and tomorrow you wake up and you still got many years of memory to be challenged and cleaned out. However, I was given the combination to access this. They never left me. They never left me. But I'll tell you what. Immediately, the very next day, as my eyes were open to a new truth, to a new light, to a new observation of the physical realm, removed of much of the blockages that hindered me from this vision. With this blessing of vision. Well, I guess fortunately, I also had eyes for Mr. Dirty, if you know what I mean. I was immediately like, and who are they? And what are they doing? Why are they following me? What's going on? It was really immediately another entire spiritual, physical entity of society that they knew it too. They somehow knew that I had entered into this threshold of purpose, representing something beautiful. And I was challenged on the ground like never before. And I wasn't physically assaulted, although just by volume and consistency, the fear naturally part of our survival instinct that was risen, and myself was challenging what I knew, challenging everything. And the few people I had in my circle at the time, the very few, already had considered maybe I was at my breaking point and I was perhaps going through a form of psychosis, and perhaps my son even asked me, "Dad, you think you might be schizophrenic?" And I told him, he stayed in front of me. I said, "Hear that?" I said, "What do you guys think?" And he laughed, I wasn't schizophrenic. I'm not knocking people who suffer with that. God bless them. I was fortunate enough, I probably had some symptoms, and maybe still do. You know what I mean? What do you think? What do you guys think? Anyway, it was. So now I got this. What I know now was observation, being observed at a level, and I didn't know who they were. I just knew at first. I was like, my God, I know it can't be no local law enforcement community, because nobody's got the fucking funding for this kind of shit. This is like 30 more Subarus get fucking. They would use the same cars and fucking me, it was gang stalking. It was like sort of, I immediately became a victim of gang stalking, and really, wow. In the early going, wow, the things I did to challenge that, it was just to try to not even challenge it, just to try to establish some kind of what the, really just some kind of place I can put it and say, what the fuck is going on? All the while, I'm sort of having intermittent contact with that beautiful angelic force that contacted me. Only intermittent because of the distractions and the attention I was given to this intentional distraction that was pretty effective. I'm not gonna lie to you. They put up quite the investment in that. They invested heavily in distracting me and succeeded in great part, and had this support of, unfortunately, the few people I had in my life. Some of my friends, my lifelong friends, some of them were involved. They knew about it or somehow became part of it in some spiritual fucking way. I don't know. However, since then I've developed, I have a great understanding of much of the crossover between the physical and the spiritual realms. I'm not saying I know it all, I don't. But I definitely rest in that duality. I'm blessed in that duality. We all have that. I'm not saying I'm chosen, like I'm God's favorite child, I'm special. We all are special. We're all God's favorite child. Every one of us. You are God's favorite child. Just get behind me and I'm just kidding. But, you know, you really are, man. We are. Like, and we have so much connectivity, so much at stake here, man. We have so much responsibility. We have so much potential. We have so much support. But we have so much opposition. You see them? Yeah, me neither. But they're going to come infiltrating your fucking friends, your sister, your mother, your brother, your cousin, your fucking coworkers, the guy that works at the deli. Not entirely. Just as much as they let them in, that's where they are. And when those entities know who you are, they conspire to gang up on you, man. And this energy builds, and then your manifestations, your like attachment to it all. Now you're sort of enlightened, confused, sort of like allow this stuff to go. You support it, man, with your energy. Makes it more real, because guess what? It is real. So now what are you going to do with it? Well, either way, a little while later, about 9 months later, I would have my moments, up and down, fighting, losing, winning, loving, hating, everything. And I looked up Scott one time, I was on the phone and said, "You're funny." Because there was something going on with like a transaction that was like, I thought it was kind of peculiar. It's, the few little details that were out of alignment that I had to trust again. And I said, "You're funny." And immediately I felt that presence come over me again, tell me to move, start walking, and this energy, wow. I filled again. I was filled. And basically, I heard a voice almost audibly, and it said, "You trusted me, but can I trust you?" Basically, looking back, I think that was giving me a chance to bail out of this calling, if you will, what they had chosen me for. And I took it as such, man. He said, "You trusted me, and I'm going to trust you. But can I?" And I said, I'm in. And it sounded like I said amen 3 times, but I was saying, I'm in. Like, no, I'm in. I said I was in. I don't know if what this is about. I don't know if it's going to cost me my life. I don't know if it's going to cost me whatever. But I told you I'm going to trust you, and I'm boots on the ground for you, bro. I wasn't living all that clean. I still had much sin in my life. Still living like this, but still had this all the way. I was even winning when I was sinning. Anyway, don't quote me on that. Anyhow, and now so many things have evolved. And man, I mean, the things initially I said, well, go ahead, what are you going to take this? You going to take that? Well, guess what? They did. They took my job. They didn't take my life. It's the only thing they didn't take it. They took basically almost everything from me. Not then. Part is meant to be. I found that God was calling me to be the guy that was going to absorb this dark energy, this attack on my life, this immense form of gang stalking, coupled with community harassment, like enough to make you fuck. I didn't want to go out of my fucking house. It was like fucking psychologically fucking boom. I mean, I wanted to fucking kill people. But I can't kill enough of them. There's so fucking many of them. You know, and then of course they're stirring up hate in me. That's disconnected me from, you know, and you know what? A few times I asked God, well, what about fucking he? He said, love him. I said, man, I knew you would say that. How the fuck am I going to do that when I fucking hate him? That's on you, bro. It's your challenge. You don't learn to love him. I had to go look up that fucking word love and see if I don't know. Still haven't put it on all the way yet. I think I'm on the letter E. I got most of it. I might have cheated that one. L-U-V. L-I-T. Remember, I'm lit. Anyway. Where I stand today, almost 5 years to the day. Actually, yeah. That was January 4th, I believe. Today's December 6th, almost December 7th, almost. A date which will live in infamy. However, conclusions are coming. I've been afforded like so much more like access to this love, this Team Invisible love. I really have. It's the most amazing blessing I've ever received in my life. Is to literally audibly hear the presence of like angels and spirits that love me, that love us, surrounding me, casting out demons, becoming like walking karma for those with broken hearts that are going to inflict their fucking demonic energies upon me so that they can learn a life lesson. I was chosen to be that guy who can absorb it. I'm not saying I'm great at it. I'm not saying I asked for it. But now, as it's coming down, the downloads, the sources, inaudible for the most part, of information that I receive spiritually, and I manifest into a knowledge of knowing in the now. Excuse me. It's beginning to unfold into everything I just talked about. Like what I believe was my role here was to be the guy who absorbs that fucking dark energy, to break up some form of corruption, to challenge a demonic spirit, and to be standing. And now, as that spirit is being slain as we speak, and I am just little old me. Little old me will be, based on what I've learned in these last 5 years of being that dude. Somebody gotta be that dude. This happened to me. Well, that dude now has to retain and excel and grow in this potential to a higher, still greater purpose. It's not like job well done. Maybe so. It's not even done yet. But close, somewhat close, man. I believe, like, Push up. It's getting ready to, that baby's getting ready to pop. Getting ready to have a baby, man. Not a real baby. A fucking spiritual fucking victory. It's coming. And I will be rewarded for my role. I will. I am rewarded. I'm already blessed. I really am. I don't even have a job. My job is to serve the King as I do. What's your job? I don't care what's in your wallet. What's your job? I know your job. Your job is to serve the King. Are you gonna do it? Put it down. Trust him. Trust him. And it don't have to be in any particular way that was taught to you. But you can't do this, you can't do that. You gotta, if it doesn't say this, it doesn't say that, you gotta kneel when God says this, and you gotta jump up and down, and you go, don't ever say this, don't think that, and you can't believe in this, and you can't believe in that. You believe in what you believe, because God put it on your heart. And you'll know right from wrong. There's only two energies, remember? There's only two. Only two. Always was. Always will be. Love and hate. Good and evil. Right and wrong. You know what I mean? Not saying, and you don't gotta condemn yourself for fucking sin, man. You're made of this stuff, and you were put here. It wasn't fucking your idea, right? But God knows you, man. And he's counting on you to trust him. And when you do, Buddha. 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 I went a little bit longer than I wanted to. I'm trying to keep my videos down to 15 minutes. I guess my clock was broke. My clock was broke. And by the way, I'm not it says Boston, I love Boston, but I'm not, necessarily a Red Sox fan. I don't care. I love all these people, man, swinging bats in it, balls, throwing footballs, shooting hoops up. Hockey guy, anybody, man. I love you all. Even the ones that wear the colors that you don't like, all that shit, I don't care, man. I love you all because God's purpose is far greater than that, man. We're here to love and support them all. Your brothers and sisters need you, man. We're calling on you to stand up for fucking righteousness. Be a warrior of your fucking truth. The truth. It's not, don't worry about what they said. Don't worry about what they fucking don't like. What they don't like is fucking the truth. Because you'll expose their fucking lie. Let them lie in their lie. I rise in the truth. How about you? I know you do. So my next video, I'm lit. I really am. And my channel is called Lit Logic. LITTLOGIK. I think someone stole the one to see. I don't know. So we're working on that. In the meantime, Abush Galus, I love you guys. I love myself. I really do. I love you. I really do. I love God above all. I really do.